Joe Montana Football as a mobile game, how much space will it take on someone's device? And by device, I'm referring to tablets and phones.
Okay, we do not know yet.
Okay.
I'd say it's growing every day, obviously. And then we'll cut that down. Obviously, there's preloading techniques and things like that. They're just common, you know. Maybe the first 50 megabytes are just easy to download over LTE, and then if you get to a Wi-Fi spot, you can download the rest of it, right?
Okay.
But I believe Apple increased it quite significantly.
Okay.
That you can download over LTE. So. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
And you can play LTE multiplayer, right? So have you played the Marvel Heroes game? I believe it is by Kabam. Like you're able to do co-op, or it's multiplayer,
right.
competitive play over LTE networks, which is really important for us because we don't want to say like, oh, go to Wi-Fi spot when you want to play your boy and.
Exactly.
No way, man. We want it to be like, yeah, I'm on LTE and I'm able to, just play against my friends, right now. Let's just go, right?
Right.
But we also want to be able to connect people together. So if you're at their house, every time I design a product, I design it from like I'm trying to find out where you're going to interact from that product. And in one of the things I think we miss is that whole aspect of like you're over your friend's house. I can't bring my Nintendo over, right?
Right.
So I'm able to sit there and be like, hey, let's just play it out right now, right? So yeah. Anyways.
Okay, that kind of led into the next question. For mobile, will there be online cooperative play? I think you just answered that. But will there be co-op? How many players? And what are your thoughts on PC and consoles? Like how many players can play on consoles, or what's the goal? Is there a goal?
So here's where I really want to talk about. So I think I talked about in the last question.
Right.
A big believer in eSports, and after spending so much time with on the sim football, on the simulation football league, right?
Right.
SFL, sorry.
SFL.
So yeah. So what I loved about that was, I watch Twitch religiously every day, and I watch Madden religiously every day, and one of the things that was awesome about SFL was it was pure, right?
Right.
And it was pure, and then what was it, Cameron? I think it was. He was fantastic.
Yes.
And it was like the color commentary. And the funny thing is that it's sort of, if you ever watch a Dota tournament or a League of Legends tournament out of like Korea.
Right.
These guys are passionate. I mean, dude, it is so exciting, right?
Of course.
And
I look at StarCraft.
Yeah, exactly. How do you accomplish that for like a football game? How would you move football into an esport?
Right.
That question has been like just killing me because so we have football the way it is today.
Right.
We need to move it into a different direction, right? We need to move it into like, how do we create something that's maybe because right now the user base for League of Legends, more people watch a League of Legends tournament than they do like the NBA finals.
Right.
Right. So we need to move football into a new area and gain new fans, create something a little more exciting. So I guess what I want to get back to is we're looking for ways to, that's why I spent so much time, not only because it was awesome talking to everybody and we all shared the same sort of ideal, but at the same time, I was trying to find a way to move it into like more of an esport. So we're actually designing things. So right now we do not have co-op. So you can't like connect to your friend and one player is playing the wide receiver. People are asking for it. And so, again, we can move quickly and maybe start testing things out. And, maybe we'll do that in the alpha phase, saying, hey guys, try out this new thing. It's co-op. One of your buddies is a wide receiver, another one's the running back, and then another one's if that works, fantastic.
Right.
But right now it's just head to head, right?
Right, just head to head.
Yeah, just head to head. So, but we want to find a way to make it exciting, and people could actually watch it and want to watch. It's hard to get through a full 2-hour game, right?
Gotcha.
Dota games and League of Legends games are like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, right?
Right.
It's sort of like, how do we we don't want to make it arcadey, right, or whatever,
Right.
but how do we bring this into the new era, right? How do we gain more fans? How do we just gain more football fans? And the funny thing is, there's 400 million football fans in the world, right?
Of course.
They all know who Joe is, which
Right.
is really cool. You know, I always tell people you can walk in any house in the middle of America and say, "You guys football fans?" They're like, "Yeah, go Vikings," or "Go this," right? Or
Right.
you know, "Go Browns." And be like, "Do you know who Joe is?" And they're, you know who Joe Montana is? And they're like, "Absolutely, of course," right?
Right.
So you know, at the same time, you go to China and you say, "Hey, do you guys?" You know, there's actually, I don't know if you guys know, there's actually 9 million or is it 10 million football fans, American football fans in China, and it's
Wow.
growing every year.
Wow.
And the NFL sent Joe last year to go and represent the NFL out there, right?
Wow.
So how do we? I mean, we're passionate Americans, passionate American gamers, but there are people all over the world who want to know about the sport. And
Right.
how do you bring it into the new day? How do you bring it into mainstream? And I guarantee you, we're going to come out and we're going to grow in markets you've never even heard of,
Right.
In some countries you never heard of. I mean, what happens if people, you know, we run tests, so we run tests in New Zealand and Canada. Obviously they got rugby and they know American football, but what happens if we grow in places like Malaysia or, you know, China or, you know, Japan? I mean, you know, they know American football, but they're more into baseball, right?
Right.
So how do we grow the sport overall instead of, you know, just trying to capture, we're all trying to fight over this sort of red ocean approach of let's just attack each other and figure out a way to tear each other to pieces. What happens if you actually just sort of broaden your mind a little bit and say, what if we gain, you know, millions of fans all over the world in places we've never even heard of before, right?
Right.
Or how do we promote the ideal of simulated football, you know, in the world? And that's interesting to us, right? I mean,
Right.
to me, that's sort of outside the box thinking. A lot of people are not going to like it, but I think I would really enjoy it if some kids in some country are like, man, this thing's really cool,
Right.
Like, oh man, I can customize this. This is called. Is it like rugby? I'm not really sure. It's kind of like it. You know, I want to discover it more, right?
Right.
So I just have this very broad view of trying to break outside the box.
Right. With
Sorry, that's a
online
very-
play. Yes.
Yeah. So that's but what if I get to connect? What if you get to play with someone who's in Malaysia?
Right.
Or, you know, and it's in their Manila. It's like, man, I'm really interested in the game. Can you teach me about how this really works?
Gotcha.
And it will happen. And that, to me, that reaction, that sort of catalyst
Yeah.
there it could be amazing. What happens if you have this like league up and someone in Japan's in your league and he's like, man, I love this game of football. And actually, if there's some really good articles of people in China that are getting into it, they just want to know everything about it.
Right.
So I think we need to grow the sport overall and maybe not always fight over just the small amount of market that we're looking at.
Excellent. Wow.